Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and we are back for another edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. So the first thing I want to talk to y'all about this morning is the government shutdown. Everyone has been talking about it, whether it's in relationship to immigration or not. So I will be no different, but I will stick strictly to the immigration piece of this. So as we know, USCIS is a fee-funded agency, so the majority of their funding comes from the filing fees that they collect from the applicants, the beneficiaries, the immigrants. So as a result, USCIS generally during a shutdown, this time is no different, is still processing cases. So if you have an interview scheduled or a biometrics appointment scheduled, don't assume that those will be postponed unless you receive something specific that says that your appointment or your interview has been postponed. Please show up to your interviews and to your biometrics appointments. It is low-hanging fruit and very easy for USCIS to deny a case because you no-showed. So don't let them do that. Make sure that you are showing up. Now, that said, E-Verify, which is also run by USCIS, is currently not up and running. So that has stopped. That software is not available right now due to the government shutdown. So if E-Verify is part of your onboarding, you're going to have to make a note that you're going to have to complete that when E-Verify is back up and running, when the government is back opened. So keep that in mind as well. State Department, they oversee the consulates. The consulates also get part of their budget from the fees that they intake for visa processing. So they, as of right now, are continuing to process visas. There may be potential delays based on how they organize and prioritize their individual workloads, because each consulate gets to prioritize their individual workloads. So we'll see what happens there. Department of Labor, if you need an LCA for an H-1B or an H-1B1, you need a prevailing wage, you need your perm to be filed or processed. All of that is currently not happening. All of that is suspended until the government reopens. And that primarily is because the Department of Labor is not a fee-funded agency, so they get their operating funds from Congress. So with no budget bill, no appropriations bill, there is no work happening on those things over at Department of Labor. EOIR is processing both non-detained and detained dockets as usual. So again, do not assume that your hearings will be postponed. Make sure that you're working closely with your attorney if you have one. And if you're not working with an attorney, don't assume that your hearings will be postponed. They are only going to be postponed if you get something, if they affirmatively tell you that it's been postponed. So just keep that in mind. The next thing we want to talk about are visa bonds. So back in early August, Department of State started, I think it's a pilot program. It's certainly not worldwide, but so it's a pilot program to institute bonds for people coming from certain countries, and then certain countries when they're traveling on visitor visas, then when they go back, that money is then given back to them. I haven't seen anything sort of what that process of intaking the money and then returning it looks like yet. So I don't have any information on that yet. But we do know that it becomes effective October 11th, and they have now included the Gambia, Malawi, and Zambia, and the bonds will be anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000. And these are for individuals that are coming to the U.S. on B1, B2 visitor visas. So just keep that in mind if that is part of your upcoming plan to come to the U.S. and you're from the Gambia, Malawi, or Zambia. There will be there's potential that there will be a travel bond between $5,000 and $15,000. I've been talking a couple of Mondays now about the proposed rule that would impact students, F and Js, that would no longer have duration of stay as the day that you need to leave, which is really not a day. This is in part why the government wants to do away with it. The government wants to do away with the duration of stay, and they want to have a concrete day by which students must leave the U.S. We have a national organization, American Immigration Lawyers Association. They do quite a bit of work on immigration at the policy level, and they have written comments to the government about this and why they think it's maybe not such the best idea. So USCIS reads all those comments, DHS reads those comments, and so hopefully we'll see maybe a meeting of the minds on this. We'll see, we're not quite sure yet. But comments were due September 29th. So whoever the subject matter expert is at USCIS is currently going through all of those comments, and we'll see what happens in the final rule. But I will keep you updated. If there is a shift from DS to a date specific by which students must leave, that will be more work for students, more work for universities who admit overseas students, who admit foreign national students. A lot more record keeping to make sure that everybody kind of stays in status and on track with their degree programs. Many folks have a My USCIS account. A lot of folks that file their own applications without using an attorney, folks that do use an attorney and they want to keep track of their cases online are using My USCIS. Attorneys are using My USCIS. Most notably, anybody that enters the H-1B lottery has to have a My USCIS account. So that said, the My USCIS account uses UTC time. So it's coordinated universal time when it is determining deadlines. So, the US spans several time zones. If you are outside of the US and you are filing something, you are in, again, a different time zone. So a lot of immigration practitioners, this is what I call it. We play a game of time zone math each and every day when we are either chatting with clients who are outside of the country or setting up conference calls when there are some people across time zones in the US and then there may be people outside the US. So we're always playing what I call time zone math. It is very important to understand UTC time and that deadline. So my recommendation is to remember that My USCIS uses UTC, but also find yourself your favorite time conversion website so that you are not thinking, if you are in California, that you may have a couple of more hours than, say, someone in New York to file, let's say, a response to a request for further evidence or a notice of intent to deny or an appeal. Sometimes things get filed right up against that deadline. We all understand that. So just make sure that you are using a really good time conversion website so that you are not running afoul of the My USCIS time in the UTC. A reminder, October 29th, so in a couple of weeks, USCIS will no longer accept checks and money orders. They will only be accepting electronic form of payment. So keep that in mind. If you are starting to use credit cards, make sure that you alert your bank that there will be these, larger charges coming through. Whoever in your organization gets the fraud alerts, make sure that they are on high alert in case your bank doesn't recognize the charge and tries to deny the charge. USCIS will not run your card twice. So whoever is getting those fraud alerts, which should absolutely be set up, needs to be super fast about approving and making sure that your bank allows those charges to go through. Sometimes it can take USCIS weeks to return a filing because of fees, and sometimes they will keep the filing, put it on hold, and send you notice in the mail that there was an issue with the fees. I have not seen them do it in one uniform way yet. So hopefully that will come as a result of only taking electronic payments, but I think that's going to be perhaps a little rocky at the beginning of this electronic only payments system that we've got going on. So just keep that in mind. And that is all I wanted to talk about this Monday morning. So I hope that's helpful. If you guys need any help sort of deciphering the shutdown or, strategizing your cases around the shutdown, feel free to reach out to my office. We are happy to help you. Again, I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and this has been another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite. Have a great rest of your Monday and a beautiful